Antarctica's A84 Iceberg just exposed a hidden ecosystem, 209 square miles revealed after 500 years, sealed under ice. What scientists found down there will change everything we know about life on Earth. 12 days ago, an iceberg the size of Chicago broke away from Antarctica. For the first time in human history, we could see what was living beneath 500 feet of solid ice. What should have been a barren, lifeless wasteland. But when the research robot descended into those dark waters, the cameras captured something impossible. Giant sponges nearly 3 feet tall, forests of coral, octopuses swimming in water that had been cut off from sunlight for centuries. Then they saw something that made the entire research team go silent. A phantom jellyfish with tentacles stretching 33 feet long, drifting through water that had been sealed away since before America was even discovered. Here's the part that will blow your mind. These creatures have been thriving in complete darkness. No sunlight, no connection to the surface world, no food chain that makes any scientific sense. But there's something even more shocking about this discovery. Something the scientists are just starting to understand. Because if life can survive like this beneath Antarctica's ice, then every assumption we've made about where life can exist in the universe just got thrown out the window. The question is, if complex ecosystems can thrive in Antarctica's frozen darkness for 500 years, what else might be living in the ice-covered oceans of Jupiter's moons? The George VI ice shelf stretches across 25,000 square kilometers of the Antarctic Peninsula, a frozen expanse larger than Vermont, locked in place since the last ice age. For decades, satellites tracked its slow, almost invisible decline, thinning at a rate of nearly half a meter every year, the shelf losing its grip as the ocean beneath warmed. Sensors recorded subtle changes, currents picking up speed, surface salinity dipping by a fraction of a point, meltwater plumes swirling under the ice. But nothing prepared scientists for what happened at 6:12 a.m. on January 31st, 2025. A rift that had been creeping forward for months suddenly snapped, releasing Iceberg A84, a block of ice the size of Chicago, into the Weddell Sea. The fracture wasn't just a crack. It was a rupture that tore open 209 square miles of seafloor, sealed away for centuries. In a single moment, a hidden world was exposed to the open ocean. The urgency was immediate. Every hour, the freshly uncovered cavity was changing, currents shifted, fresh water from the iceberg diluted the sea, and nutrients began to flow where none had moved for centuries. The clock was ticking for researchers. This was a one-time window into a lost ecosystem, a chance to witness what the world looks like when the ice finally gives way. What lay beneath had the potential to rewrite the rules about where life can exist, not just on Earth, but anywhere in the universe. Within hours of the calving, the gears of international science turned at breakneck speed. The research vessel Falkor, already stationed in the Southern Ocean, received word of the rupture and rerouted toward the coordinates. On board, Dr. Patricia Eska, known among peers as the Ice Whisperer, took command of a team that now faced a logistical sprint unlike any in Antarctic history. Every minute mattered. The permit from the British Antarctic Territory, coded SSP 2025-07, granted just 10 days of unrestricted access to the exposed seafloor. The National Science Foundation's Office of Polar Programs authorized a multi-million-dollar emergency grant, ensuring that no technical or bureaucratic hurdle would slow the mission. In the port of Punta Arenas, Chile, the ship's manifest was cleared in record time. Chilean authorities, recognizing the gravity of the moment, dispatched a Navy icebreaker to carve a safe corridor through the shifting pack ice, escorting Falkor into waters no ship had ever entered. Supplies were loaded, satellite comms tested, and the remotely operated vehicle Sebastian, capable of diving to 4,500 meters, was prepped for deployment. Eska's voice, steady over the comms, cut through the chaos. "We are not here to watch history. We are here to capture it." As the vessel cut its way through the last miles of fractured ice, The sense of urgent was palpable. Crew and scientists worked side by side, rigging power racks and assembling sampling gear. The world's first glimpse into a habitat untouched for half a millennium depended on every detail falling into place. No one aboard knew what they would find below, but every hand on deck understood the stakes. The countdown had begun, and failure was not an option. The countdown to the first dive had barely begun when disaster struck. Just as Sebastian's cameras reached the edge of the exposed seafloor, alarms flared on the mission control screens, and voltage on the main power bus had dropped by 5 volts in a heartbeat. For a moment, every thruster on the ROV froze. On board, the engineering team scanned telemetry in silence, watching as error flags multiplied across the monitors. Corrosion on the copper tin bus bar, likely from a hairline crack exposed to salty spray, had triggered the fault. The margin for error in these waters is razor thin. One failed connector, and the entire expedition could be lost to the black. Mateo Rangel, the Chilean-born ROV pilot, didn't flinch. He called for a manual bypass, ordering his team to cut the primary feed and splice in a 2-meter jumper from the ship's redundant switchboard. Hands moved fast, crimping, insulating, locking down the emergency cable. 90 seconds ticked by, each one stretching longer than the last. Then, with a final twist, the voltage snapped back to nominal. Sebastian's thrusters whirred to life, and the control room erupted in nervous laughter and applause. Cameras flickered back online, ready to pierce the darkness beneath the ice. The crisis had passed, but the sense of fragility lingered. One slip, and the hidden world below would stay unseen. Instead, thanks to quick thinking and cold nerves, the mission was back on track, poised to reveal whatever secrets had waited half a millennium to be found. The first images from Sebastian's cameras swept across the newly exposed seafloor, and every expectation dissolved in seconds. Where scientists had braced for a barren plain of mud and rock, the monitors filled with a spectacle no one could have scripted. Immense sponges rising nearly 2 meters from the seabed, their pale bodies clustered like ancient monuments in the gloom. Each one teemed with life, tiny shrimp darting between folds, brittle stars clinging to spongy towers, and slow-moving ice fish weaving through the shadows. A forest of deep-sea coral stretched across the landscape, its branches tangled and brilliant, even in the faint blue haze. Some colonies, later dated to be centuries old, had grown into thickets dense enough to shelter whole schools of fish. An octopus, ghostly and pale, unfurled its arms and blinked in slow bursts of bioluminescence, as if signaling to a world that had never seen light. Then, as the ROV drifted deeper, a shape emerged from the black, a jellyfish, translucent and immense, trailing tentacles that stretched 10 meters behind it. The bell pulsed with a dim blue glow, each movement casting eerie shadows over the coral below. Crew in the control room fell silent, transfixed by the sight of a creature that seemed unbound by the rules of the known ocean. Shock turned quickly to wonder. Every frame revealed more: ice fish with antifreeze blood, sponges coated in dense mats of bacteria, and entire communities thriving in a place untouched by sunlight for half a millennium. The sheer abundance and scale defied every textbook on deep-sea biology. This was not a relic or a graveyard. It was a living world, vibrant and interconnected, raising a question that echoed far beyond Antarctica. If life can flourish here, hidden in darkness and sealed away for centuries, what else might be waiting beneath the ice, on worlds even more remote than our own? Beneath the shattered ice, scientists expected a dead zone. No sunlight, no vents, no hope for anything but the simplest microbes. Instead, chemical sensors reported hydrogen concentrations between 10 and 30 micromoles per liter, far above what anyone predicted for such a sealed world. The team's biochemists, huddled over their laptops in the ship's lab, realized this hydrogen wasn't drifting in from the outside. It was being forged in the darkness itself, split from water molecules as cosmic rays and natural radioactivity bombarded the ice overhead. This process, called radiolysis, was supposed to be a marginal trickle, yet here it powered an entire ecosystem. Tissue samples from giant sponges and corals, dated by accelerator mass spectrometry, all pointed to a common story. Over 5 centuries, these animals and their bacterial partners had survived cut off from the sun, drawing energy from hydrogen and sulfide that radiolysis supplied. Genetic sequencing revealed the presence of high-DA genes, molecular blueprints for the hydrogenase enzymes that let microbes harvest this energy. In the absence of light, the microbial mats coating every surface acted as living batteries, charging the food web from the bottom up. The implications stretched far beyond Antarctica. NASA engineers, poring over the expedition's reports, saw a blueprint for survival on other worlds. The Europa Clipper mission, launching in 2027, now incorporates redundant power systems and hydrogen sensors modeled after the very equipment that kept Sebastian running in the Antarctic black. If radiolysis can sustain complex life in a frozen cavity for 500 years, then the oceans beneath Europa's ice, bombarded by Jupiter's radiation, might be anything but empty. The chemistry of survival here is not just a local miracle, it's a cosmic echo, hinting that life's boundaries are wider than we ever dared imagine. Truth hides in places we refuse to imagine. Life thrives where darkness should reign. Every square mile beneath the ice rewrites what we think is possible, not just on Earth, but on worlds like Europa. The line between isolation and interconnection is thinner than we ever dared believe. What secrets wait beneath?